are y'all ready for something really interesting? So welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a very interesting video here. I am curious, nervous, and curious to see your comments on this one right here. I have actually been testing an all-electric tractor here for the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to be demoing it on the channel for just a little bit before, well, it goes off to its next home. So a lot of y'all know a while back I partnered up with a tractor company called Solis. They are not a new tractor company by no means. Been around a very long time, and they're owned by International Tractors Limited, 5th largest tractor company on the planet. They're in 150 countries, and they're huge overseas, especially in the European markets. But they've recently been making a splash in the United States. Speaking of, I just went to a large ag expo down here in the south, the Sunbelt Ag Expo, where they were showcasing an all-electric tractor. I was happy to see at this particular ag expo, they're demoing a lot of their other tractors that they're going to be releasing in the United States soon. From Yanmar-powered 35 and 48 horsepower tractors, 55, 60s, all the way up to 75 horse tractors, the 24 horse hydrostat diesel powered that we already have, and they just started launching that model in an AC cab version as well. But by far the star of the show that people kept coming up and talking about was the electric tractor. Now I'm gonna start off by saying, yes, I completely understand electric tractors are not for everybody, and no, they're not just gonna take over everything. Diesel is still king, but there is no denying that battery powered equipment, from yard working tools all the way up to mowers and now even tractors, is starting to become more and more popular. So the guys at the Solis booth asked, hey, would you like to demo this for a little bit? Sure, why would I not? This is part of the perks of being a content creator and partnering with companies like this. I've been enjoying their diesel tractors. We're always going to be diesel here on the channel, but why would I not jump on the opportunity to test something so new right here? Plus, as you can see, I've parked it here for a reason. We do a lot of solar on the channel, and we have a lot more coming, and the wheels got to turn in. Could I potentially charge and run this tractor for free while I have it? And thus far, yes, I've been using my solar system, my shop is off grid, and I've been charging this tractor. Now I technically need more panels than what I have here to keep continuing to do that, and the good news is I've purchased a lot more panels. We're going to be upgrading solar on the channel. But today we're not talking about solar. You can charge this via 110 volts, 220 volts, solar, household plugs, it does not matter. Let's talk about the tractor. I've been using it. I'm relatively impressed for it being electric. No, it's not going to replace my diesel tractors, but this does absolutely fit in for some of y'all. It'll make perfect sense. For some of y'all, it will not. So let's talk about this tractor. Overall, you can't deny that it's just a neat concept. So if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you know that we have their 24 horsepower diesel version. Just imagine this is the electric brother to that tractor. It's the same frame, chassis, platform, everything. But instead it has a large battery up front, and well, it's just driven by an electric motor. You still have your standard tractor hydraulic system. Everything else works exactly the same. The majority of the controls are set up exactly the same as the 24 horse diesel version that I have. So let's dive right into it. Most everybody's going to want to know what on earth is powering this. So let's pop the hood, and if you look underneath, this here is a 17 kilowatt hour battery. So massive battery, and then you have an electric motor driving your hydraulic system in here. So the dash will give you a full readout with the battery percentage and all information. Here's the included charger. It's a really small size. Everything else is built on board into the tractor. You just plug it in the side right here, and you'll see there's a charging indicator light on the inside by the charger, as well as the dash will give you all the information that you need, including the battery percentage and charging. So if you take a look at the front with the carbon fiber look and that light up there, it's a really sharp looking tractor. You got a nice emblem up there, some front projector headlights, and I really like the two-tone look on the wheels. All right, so before we go any further, yeah, I can already hear the people saying, but battery tractors don't run as long as diesels. You're exactly right. This isn't for everybody. This is going to be for the typical homeowner that has, say, 1 to 5 acres, that occasionally uses a tractor, or maybe uses indoors and doesn't want the emissions, or that's into battery powered equipment. So most people are going to say, what's the runtime on this? The guys over at Solis are telling me about 3 hours of moderate to heavy use. Again, this is going to vary greatly. If you're just running around doing a little bit of loader work, you're going to get a lot longer than that. If you're running heavy engaging PTO equipment, you're probably going to get less time than that. So I've been running this for a couple of weeks now, and I can tell you, just doing typical loader work, well, it lasts a long time. I don't have an exact figure for you. I can just tell you I can run it a few days, taking it out, doing some stuff, and you're good to go. So for the typical homeowner that's wanting to, say, take a pallet out of the back of the truck, that's wanting to do mulch and landscaping and rock, this is probably going to work great for you. If you're into putting in a full day's work and running heavy PTO equipment, this is not going to be the tool for the job there. We all have different wants and different needs. So charging is going to be the next popular question. You're looking probably 9-10 hours on the 110 volts, and you're looking at about half that time on 220. I don't have the speed charger, so I can't give you the exact time for that. You've also got to keep in mind where you're recharging at. You're not running this down to 0, so you're not going to need those full recharge times. This actually goes into a limp mode around 20%, if I remember correctly, which protects you, tells you to stop working, gives you plenty of time to get back home, plenty of battery life. I actually have been driving this about a mile away doing some work, and I'm using around 3% battery, for example, to run a mile across odd terrain. So you technically cannot run out of juice with this. What you may have to do is stop working early. Again, whenever you're looking at something like this, you're determining how much use you're going to have to compare electric versus a diesel purchase option. So let's go over some of the specs that's included with this and some major upgrades over my current diesel model that I have. You're going to notice right off the rip, this has a grapple up front. So this has what is called a diverter valve. Well, long story short, this has a button in the top of the joystick, and whenever you press it, it takes your curl and roll functions and turns them into an open and close on the grapple. It's actually very easy to use. It's the first one I've ever operated like this. You don't have the traditional up and down button. As soon as you let loose of the button, you're back to curling and rolling out again, the standard way that a tractor's typically set up. And then, of course, up and down on the loader. The loader has been improved dramatically. You'll notice that now they offer a mechanical self-leveling loader, and the loader capacity for this size tractor has been increased dramatically. It's a little under 1,400 pounds. I don't remember the exact figures, 1360 and 1380, but this lifts a tremendous amount of weight. I actually lifted some logs up that were just crazy heavy that the diesel wouldn't lift, and this one lifted them with no problems whatsoever. Really, really big logs. I'm actually excited about using this down around in my woodshed where I'm bringing in logs to cut up for the chainsaw, or potentially going to get a sawmill. You can get some serious work done with the lifting capacity on this and a grapple. I can bring in some really big size logs. I should also mention the 3-point on the rear has also been increased. I believe it can lift like 1,600, almost 1,700 pounds right now. That is crazy lifting capacity on a frame this size right here. So just think of this as the electric diesel with some upgrades. The seat is also upgraded, even though it's very similar. Forward back has suspension loading in the rear right here where you can tighten that down. That's a nice feature. Adjustable armrest, just like on my other tractor. By the way, this comes with rear included remotes, just like my diesel tractor. And you see one upgrade they're offering now, a fully hydraulic top link. I am happy to see that. That is a really nice feature and something I've been looking forward to trying out. Think of this as your typical hydrostatic tractor, forward, reverse, and you have your range selector switch over here with low, neutral, and high range. This is a master kill switch for your battery. This is your electronic throttle up and down to run the electric motor up and down. Your key forward right here. PTO switch over here, and then a full readout in the dash to tell you what's going on with the tractor. Front projector headlights. This is four-wheel drive, just like the diesel version. Lock and rear diff. There's your four-wheel drive selector. And what's really nice about all their small tractors, this has not only a rear PTO, but a mid-mount PTO underneath. And this has a rear PTO. I don't know if you can see it, should you want to add a belly mower to it. One other nice feature, as simple as it is, they're including the toolbox now. I can't tell you how many tractors don't do that, and there's just nowhere to put a toolbox on these things. So let's kick it on. Let's show you how loud it is. I've already done shown a few clips throughout this. All right, we hold the key forward. It'll go into startup mode. There it is. And you're gonna hear the motor spooling up right here. And this is such a unique sound because you don't have a diesel now. You're hearing the hydraulic fluids going through the valves. Hear the fluid squeezing through. You're hearing things you never heard before. It's already on your typical diesel tractor, but the one thing I can't get over is listen how quiet it is. I'm gonna kick on the tiller right here. Listen how quiet this is. By the way, the tiller's running. I don't even know if you can pick it up. I can't believe how quiet the PTO equipment is. I always thought it was louder than that. I actually used this yesterday to plant a food plot. I'll be showing that video coming up here before long. and I use this tiller on this tractor right here. So if you take a look at the front grapple, notice how it stays level as I lift up. That's that mechanical self-leveling. There's your curl out, curl in. And if I press and hold down this diverter button I was telling you about, well, it opens and closes the grapple itself. But I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. Me personally, I don't think electric's taking over anything anytime soon, but we cannot deny that we're seeing more and more things going to electric. Would you ever own one of these? Is this something you're interested in? I've already kind of hinted around to this on the channel. Some of y'all love the idea and the concept. Some people are strictly diesel. I totally get it and understand that. All right, so here's the introduction. I'm already putting this thing to work. I've got some videos coming up. We're gonna play with it. We're gonna have fun. That's ultimately what it's about. I'm not here to sell you on no electric tractor. I don't get paid if you buy one of these. I just want to demo something that's really cool while I have the opportunity to do it. And speaking of that, is there anything that you would like to see me test or use this on while I have it? If so, by all means, drop a comment down there and let me know. This is really interesting. Let's put it to work while it's on the property and answer any questions that you might have about it. All right, y'all, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We're going to be testing this thing out and putting it to work here coming up in some future episodes. We'll catch you on the next one.